James Gunn and DC just dropped their 8 to 10 year plan for Chapter 1 of DCU Gods and Monsters. Let's talk about that.
When you're up and down and you're over and out, come listen to your friend Stephen Brown. This is the show with Stephen.
Welcome to Breaking It Down with Brown. If you're new here, I'm your host, Stevie B, aka Daddy Cool, aka about to shill DC pretty hard. So James Gunn, co-CEO of DC Studios, has dropped this video on DC just recently to talk about the first chapter of where the DC universe is going in interconnected things such as film, gaming, and television. But of course, the main thing being the film universe. So in the beginning of this video, Gunn states that he's going to be connecting all film, gaming, TV, animation so that all the actors playing certain characters will be portraying those roles across animation, doing the voices for the characters, maybe possibly having something to do with the video games themselves even, as he is stating that gaming somehow is going to be part of this interconnectivity, trying to create, you know, a big mogul monster kind of like the MCU, which everything is trying to emulate now, of course. He also immediately introduces DC Elseworlds, which is kind of the comic equivalent of Marvel What If you're familiar with that, which they had a animated show about the concept of Marvel What If as well. In comics like that, if you've never read a comic book in your life, they just take things and say like, what if Superman, wasn't raised by a nice farm family, or if he landed in Soviet Russia or something like that. And it's just kind of fun what if stories and things like that. Now, but mainly important, he goes into films that we've known were coming out for a long time, that no one's excited about any of these films, but they're going to come out anyways. They've made them. Shazam 2, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, and The Flash. Now, Blue Beetle and Aquaman 2 will be coming out post-Flash, but Flash is going to be the reboot of this DC franchise, and I'm not going to take the time to even edit all these nicely and give them their own segment or even talk about any of these movies really, other than The Flash is what I want to talk about. So I'll just throw all the posters there in a big mishmash pile, but not that anyone even cares about these films. Flash specifically, what I want to say is that for the majority of my life, Flash has been one of my favorite superheroes. He was my favorite superhero for a long time, and now it's important to me who my favorite superhero is. I'm not going to lie. Now I'm kind of in a gray area. But I will say that when I sat down to watch the Justice League movie years ago with my best friend, Kal-El, who is named after Superman, we sat down to watch Justice League, and I cried at the end of the movie because of how terrible it was. I felt like characters I loved were so poorly represented, and just kind of felt like someone took my own child in front of me and slit their throat and made me watch. And you also can tell that James Gunn is lying about these films. He knows these are bad. So when he talks about these in the video, every single movie he goes, "Oh, Blue Beetle, a fantastic film. The Flash, a fantastic film," which he says, which I really love. He has to pretend like he's excited about these films because he works for the company that's selling them. They have to make money off of them. Try not to lose money on them, obviously. But it isn't all bad. There's some really great things coming. In the beginning of the video, I said I was about to shill because I'm super excited. I'm very optimistic about the future of the DCU. And here we go. Let's jump right into it, guys. James Gunn states that him and co-CEO Peter Safran have mapped out an 8 to 10 year plan for the first chapter of the new DCEU timeline, and they're calling this chapter Gods and Monsters. Now, all the titles that they have announced here in this video, they state, are also not all of the titles for the first chapter. These are just the first ones they're starting with. First up is Creature Commandos, which is going to be an animated TV series written by James Gunn. He says he wrote all of the episodes, and I am excited to see this one. This is going to be fun to see some nice animation with some characters we don't get a lot of time with, and I am a big fan of Frankenstein and the Bride from DC Comics. They're always a great time to hang out with. Also, you notice here in the promotional art for this series, they show the team that's going to be there, Weasel, which is a character that, of course, his brother Sean Gunn played in The Suicide Squad, which is maybe a little bit of nepotism, but that's fine. I like them. And again, let's remember, he stated that any of the characters played in animation will also be carrying over into live action roles, which is very exciting to see. So we're going to get animated shows like this, Creature Commandos, where characters are being voiced by actors that will then be playing them in films later, or maybe other TV show spin-offs and things. Now, another series that, I'm not super optimistic about, but of course I will give my time of day to check out. It's going to be a live-action series called Waller, about Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis again, who I think is a great actress. She's a very good actress. And this live-action TV show is going to be following Amanda Waller, and she's going to be using members from Team Peacemaker, the show with John Cena, everything like that. It seems like that's where they're going to be carrying over now. I believe there's going to be more Peacemaker. I had thought I heard that. Now I'm thinking, but I'm not sure. But they will, at least these characters will at least be appearing in the Waller TV series. And our first real film for this, which I'm super excited about, is going to be Superman Legacy, written by James Gunn, which I'm not going to lie, I'm a big James Gunn fan as a writer and as a director, so I'm excited to see this. It already has a release date. July 11th, 2025 is the first tentative release date. Most of these films get pushed back anyways, but that's what they're saying, which is not too far off. And it's going to focus on a younger Superman, and apparently not be an origin story, but he will have already started being a Superman. Maybe like the New 52 Rebirth Action Comics, where he's running around with his jeans and t-shirt, maybe, who knows? Or maybe he's already established a little bit. But anyways, it's going to be really exciting to see a new take on Superman. And now, I'm not going to lie, the thing I'm most excited about is going to be an HBO live-action TV drama series about Green Lantern's Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan being buddy cops. It's called Lanterns. In the video, James Gunn, in the press release, he likens it to True Detective. It's going to be terrestrial, he says. It's going to be taking place on Earth. He said that some other lanterns will be showing up and things like that, but they're going to be dealing with space threats on Earth, and that they're going to uncover some kind of dark, horrific mystery, is what he says, that is going to be unraveled in the greater storyline. This is going to tie directly into whatever the first chapter is. And as excited as I am, I'm going to say also, it seems like, just for plot speculation, perhaps this is a new starting the Justice League, and they're going to go for the New 52 Justice League, which I thought was a fine book, where, Batman and Green Lantern and Hal Jordan meet up and stuff, and Apocalypse comes to Earth. So it could be pretty exciting to see that. Next, Gunn states that this film, The Authority, is going to be a passion project of his that he is personally really well invested in, and it's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a huge fan of Wildstorm. I've read a tiny bit. I don't read a lot of it, not super familiar with it. So I really couldn't give too much of a take on this, although I would say it seems kind of like another Guardians of the Galaxy for him. I don't mean that they're like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it seems like another team he can take that isn't in the forefront of anyone's minds who doesn't read comics. Like, if you don't read comics, you have no idea who this team is. You've never seen these characters before, and he is going to put them in the spotlight and, of course, probably make something entertaining, and could create some new big fans of these characters, which is also exciting. Another project I'm very skeptical of is Paradise Lost, which is going to be a TV live-action show focusing on the inhabitants of Themyscira, Paradise Island, which, of course, is all women. And he likened it to saying it's going to be something like Game of Thrones on Themyscira. Now, of course, I'm optimistic about all of these. I'm going to check them all out and hope for the best. I'm not going to wish any ill will, but of course this has the chance of being some kind of propagandized diversity thing. But if done correctly, it could be one of the best things coming out of it. Let's go, baby! Another Batman film, The Brave and the Bold, focusing on Batman and his son Damian and their relationship, and he states in the video is a start to the Bat family, which means he does mean to have the Bat family, part of the DCU, and have hopefully everyone there, Jason, Tim, Dick, Barb, Orphan, maybe even Clayface joins them at some point, who knows, and of course, Batwoman. Now, I am, Duke Thomas, sorry, and of course, two Batman franchises running at the same time. I cannot get enough of Batman. No one can get enough of Batman. Hopefully it's done correctly. I mean, it's a Batman movie. That's the thing. There hasn't been a truly, in my opinion, bad Batman movie. They're all enjoyable in their own ways and stuff. And a lot of people don't like it when I say it, but I love the Christian Bale Batman movies. Not just The Dark Knight. My favorite one is Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry. I love it because also I get a lot of pleasure out of watching Bane. No survivors! Not a whole lot to divulge into this but he did announce a Booster Gold live-action TV series, which is great to get just another side character like Booster Gold and get a little more DC representation. And my kind of representation, what I mean is, I don't mean a white guy, I mean just more DC characters that I love and just more DC characters than Batman and Superman, more people getting to shine. You know, I like DC comics more than I like Marvel comics, but and that's the comic books, but Marvel runs a better company. DC just has such a hard time making things, so it's just nice to hear that we're going to be seeing some more characters. Another film announced, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, based on, he says, the recent Tom King book of the same name. Now, I read comic books, you could say, as they come out, but I can't keep up with everything, so I read them in order, in chronological order, as on release dates. I go a month by month of release, but I'm in 2018 right now in comics. I'm that far behind. I read comics when I have the time, when I feel like it, and I continue from where I left off every book and you know, read all the events and things like that. I read everything, unfortunately, even Ironheart and Ms. Marvel. But I don't know if this is a good comic, but I trust Gunn, and he seems like a real comic book fan, so hopefully they do a good Supergirl film. One I'm sure the fiancé will love to watch with me is Swamp Thing, which he states is going to be more horror-based, and he says it's not going to fit in with most of the DCU themes, but it is part of the overarching storyline. It's not in Elseworld, and the Swamp Thing film will be horror-based, and will be darker, thank God. And it sounds exciting, you know? Finally something different, more Swamp Thing representation. Everyone loves Swamp Thing. I didn't watch the Swamp Thing show they did a while ago on the DC streaming service, because I don't really like the DC shows mostly. But you know, I don't know if that was good or not. I think I heard it was good, but more Swamp Thing. Can't go wrong with Swamp Thing. All right, let's throw the chapter 1, photo up there. I love this picture, by the way. You can see it. Let's go over it again. At the top there, Shazam. Oh, this year. Yeah, this year. I forgot about that. I don't even know the Flash is Flash really coming out this year? 2 days before my birthday, June 18th. The universe resets. Then in August we have Blue Beetle, and in December we'll have the that's all this year. Wow, I didn't think that was all this year. But I'll watch all these movies. Probably won't pay to go see them in theaters, other than the Flash movie I'm interested in, just because I love the Flash. I love the Flash. They're doing it terribly. I hate Ezra Miller. Is a fucking monster. Blue Beetle, great character, but the film will probably, I don't know, if it's anything like old DC stuff, it's going to be bad. The Aquaman movies couldn't care less. And I'm sorry, I like my shiny golden-headed Aquaman. I couldn't care less for Jason Momoa. I think he's a terrible actor. Just because you're handsome and muscly doesn't make you a good actor. The Rock. John Cena pulls it off somehow, though. He's very charming. Then the universe resets, and we have here Creature Commandos. Personally excited for that one. Lanterns, I'm going to go over that in a little. I want to get deeper into Lanterns really quick. Waller, I think, honestly, could be good. I'm tired of the character, but honestly, thinking about it, it's probably going to be good. The Authority will be interesting, I think. Superman Legacy cannot speak better of that, cannot wait. Paradise Lost, my biggest what if of all of this is Paradise Lost. Batman Brave and the Bold, I don't care. I honestly don't think I couldn't enjoy a Batman film. I have no doubts it'll be great. Booster Gold, hopefully, will be fun. Good to see him getting some action. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I'm optimistic about as well. And Swamp Thing, I think, will be a hit out of the park as well. At the bottom here, they have Joker and the Batman slated under Elseworld, so you know. We have that Joker sequel coming out next Halloween. Not next this year, sorry, but 2024. Which will be interesting because it's going to have Lady Gaga, right, as Harley Quinn. Batman Part 2, can't wait. Are those coming out? Okay, never mind. I thought it was the same year. The year after, okay. Loved the Matt Reeves Batman. That is the best Batman movie ever. I've heard a lot of people say bad things about it, but no, dude, it got the point. Teen Titans Go is all right. I don't care about Superman and Lois. Now, before we wrap here, I told the story in the beginning of the video about how I felt like when the DCU started doing all that stuff or whatever. I guess it started with Man of Steel and culminating in, my opinion, Justice League being the lowest low. How I felt like they, kind of destroyed my childhood there and destroyed things I love. And I am, I have a checkered past. I have my own life stories and things that have happened to me, and I have this Green Lantern tattoo. I think that's backwards on camera, but I have the Green Lantern symbol on my tattoo sleeve, and it says willing next to it. Because, and yeah, shocker, my favorite Green Lantern is Jessica Cruz. I loved her story. I loved her introduction into the DC universe. And I love the idea of a Green Lantern is the power to overcome great fear. As long as you have willpower, as long as you're willing. That's what Green Lantern is to me. And the Flash, that's the best friendship. Hal Jordan and Barry Allen, whenever they get together, best comics ever, man. Because the Flash is all about moving forward. Leaving things behind and moving forward. So I want to leave all the bad faith of the DC Universe behind and move forward with this new stage, this new Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. And I couldn't be more optimistic. With a grain of salt. But I'm not going to lie, I'm a hater. I'm usually pretty negative about things, but I am going to... I look at this slate and I just think good things. Because I want DC to succeed. I want comic books to succeed. I think it's a dead medium. I think it's done. I think we've juiced it. I think the wrong people are in charge. But we'll still have those old stories, And we could have some great new ones here. If you liked what you heard, guys, I appreciate you for listening. Consider liking and subscribing. If you didn't like what you heard, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video and listening to an opinion that's different than your own. If you hated what you heard, get bent.
The show is over, but you're still here hanging around. Why don't you hit subscribe?